In America's election headquarters tonight, the balance of power in the U.S. Senate. That is the big race that we've been talking about. Who will control the Senate? Tonight, some new Fox News polls in key races. First, Kansas. This is a big change with incumbent Pat Roberts now up 5 points on independent Greg Orman. Now let's go to Colorado. This is also a change from what we've seen in this race with a widening of the lead for Cory Gardner. We were just out there yesterday. Mark Udall at 37% in our latest poll. Arkansas, also a split here with Tom Cotton, the representative, against the incumbent, and Cotton picking up points in our latest Fox News poll. Alaska, the Republican Dan Sullivan at 44%, the incumbent Mark Begich at 40%. And Kentucky, the minority leader you see is just about where he has been in the Real Clear Politics average of polls, up 4 on Allison Lundergan Grimes. Now, if you look at all the approval ratings of the president in all 5 of these states, take a look at this. The highest approval President Obama has, 36% in Colorado, and that's across all 5 of these states. Pretty remarkable as you look at that. Now let's take a look at where it stands today. These are all the Senate races as they are, and the incumbents in blue, Democrats, red, Republicans, 55-45 as of today. If you look at the average of polls today, the Republicans stand to pick up in Montana. South Dakota, while it's closing, it's still Republican. Iowa looks like it's going Republican. Arkansas, Alaska. In Kansas, just today, there was a debate between the incumbent Pat Roberts and independent Greg Orman.
Do any of us really believe that my opponent would stand up to President Obama? He helped elect him. I promise you this, my first vote will be for a Republican majority.
We're sending the worst of both parties to Washington. Bitter partisans who care more about pleasing the extremists and the special interests in their own parties than they do about solving problems.
For now, we'll leave Kansas red. According to the polls, West Virginia would go to the Republicans as of today. That would give them majority if Kansas held. Colorado would go to the Republicans if the average of polls held today. The election was held today. New Hampshire, another debate, very interesting, between Jeanne Shaheen and Scott Brown on Monday.
I don't believe we should send tens of thousands of American troops to be an occupying force in the Middle East.
ISIS is not taking anything off the table, but we're already taking something off the table. So my question is, what if airstrikes don't work? Where are we then?
That, according to the Real Clear Politics average of polls, would stay blue as of now in Democratic hands. North Carolina, take a listen to Kay Hagan and Tom Tillis.
Speaker Tillis has built a record of dividing our state, always putting the wealthy and big corporations first. He's gutted education, killed an equal pay bill, made college more expensive, and said no to health care.
Senator Hagan went to Washington. She promised us she'd be different, and she broke her promise. If you want the same failed policies of President Obama, you'd vote for Kay Hagan.
So in that race right now, according to the average of polls, that would stay in the Democrats' hand. Kay Hagan with a lead there. As you look at Louisiana, this is expected to go to the Republicans, but right now we can't say that because this could go to a runoff December 6th. The Republicans would have the advantage there. We'll leave that in Democratic hands. The other hope for Democrats is Georgia. Take a listen to Michelle Nunn and David Perdue.
He would be the only senator that, from his own words, has built a career around outsourcing American jobs. That is not the experience that we need in Washington.
Middle-class wages have dropped dramatically. And yes, in the last 6 years, we put 4 million women into poverty under the failed administration of this president.
That debate last night, that race is tightening, but right now still in the Republicans' hands. So this is how the breakdown is as of today, according to the average of polls. And there you see 52-48 if Kansas stays Republican. That would mean, as of today, if the election was held today, the Republicans would control the U.S. Senate.